Hello everyone, welcome again. In this video, I'm going to create a Spring Boot project from scratch. So this is a bug tracking system. Currently, I was working on it and I have implemented some basic things over there. But I'm going to show you first after running the application how the things are working, and then we'll start the development from scratch. Okay, so you will be easily understand how the things are working internally. How can we develop this kind of application? So I have started the server. It's running on my 8080, and let's say localhost 8080 bug tracking. That's it. So what I started, it's just a home page, basic home page where we have a sign up option and the line login option. Under the sign up, we can fill up some data. And when you hit the submit button, it will say registration successfully, and the data is stored in my user table. That's it. So so we are going to start a new series of web development and Spring Boot from scratch. So what the technology we are using in this, we are going to use a simple Spring Boot for a backend, and for the front end, we are going to use JSP, JSTL, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and according to the requirement, we'll change it. And again, it will be a Maven project. And then, so let's just start. Let's create a new project. So I have already have this project and this workspace. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop this server. I'm going to create another copy of this, and I will use something for a reference. So let me create another workspace here. So I'm just moving onto other workspace, and let's say I'm going to create a workspace with a name YT dev. So it means YouTube development. Okay, it does not exist. Check the path again. Okay, we have to create it. Sorry, YT dev. So I just create this, and actually I want this should be launched in a new instance. So I just create another instance of it. I'm using Eclipse IDE as a 22. You can use latest one as well. I just give that path here and I launch it. And for the backend, I'm using MySQL Workbench. And the database will be also MySQL. So you need to just wait because I'm going to run two instances of the Eclipse in my machine. Meanwhile, it's running. What the first step you need to follow? You need to go to the Spring Analizer. So Spring Analizer, you will get here start spring.io, and here you have to create a simple template of the application. This Spring Analizer will give you a simple template of a Spring project. So I'm going to select the technology here as a Java, and we need a Maven project. So apart from that, I'm going to select a stable version. Don't use this as snapshots while you're working on an application. Just always choose a stable version that will not create any problem in future. And here you need to enter the work tracking. So enter the name. So let's say I'm going to use com dot as a artifact. I'm going to use as a work tracking. And I always prefer to keep it in a small. So your final package name will be bug tracking. I'm going to add a YT here. So it means we are going to develop this project for YouTube, and we need a jar or var for bev. I'm going to use a Java 11. You can use 17, and later also we can change that. And if you want add any dependencies, you can add from here. But I will add it later because I have already have a bunch of dependencies over there. After filling up these details, you need to click a generate. So it will generate a simple project for you over there. And if you see here, we have this project, a zip object project. Just I'm going to open a folder here, and let's say I'm going to create a folder here as a YT YouTube Dev Spring Boot YT, and here I'm going to keep my this project. So I just extract it, click on the extract here. You can see it's the Spring Initializer will give us a simple template, empty template for the project. So now I'm going to import this in my Eclipse IDE. So this is the workspace where we are going to use it. So I just click on this import project. Also, you can go here, file, and go to the import project, select the option as a Maven, an existing Maven project, click on next, enter that URL of the path of the project and click on finish. Once you will do this, it will start the importing project and build some initial process, and then it will start. Now I'm moving into, until this process is happening, I'm moving into my existing project that I already developed. So here you will see we have some dependencies. So I am going to copy all these dependencies and going to build that and that copy. So don't be confused. Check here, we have a bug tracking here, and what we are developing from scratch, we have a bug tracking YT. Okay, so for a reference to save the time, I'm using this. So I'm just going to copy all these dependencies and I will try to explain all of them, like why we are using here. So I just copy this. So, and where I'm copying under the dependencies, take all the dependencies I'm going to copy, and I'm going to copy and going to add it here into my new project form.xml. If you see this pom.xml, you will see all the Java versions here, Spring Boot versions here, and some dependencies here, some basic dependencies. We have already received dependencies, so I'm going to remove them. And under the dependencies tag, I'm going to add all these dependencies. When I did this, you will see once this project will build, you will see all the dependencies will be available here under the library section, and this you will see all the Spring dependencies are available here. Now we have some errors. Definitely, always don't afraid from the errors. Always try to solve them, understand the problem. So you will see we are getting error here, and the error is saying multiple markers at this line dependencies for MySQL are is missing. So if you see here, we are using runtime environment and Java version, so it's not able to find this dependency, the MySQL dependency. So what can we do to solve this? Just remove this dependency first. Okay, go to the Google, search for MySQL dependencies, Maven, open this official site of repositories, ambient repository. Here, search any stable version. Let's say I'm going to use this at 030. Copy this dependency. I'm going to edit here. That's it. Now you will see, now we are adding a specific version of that, so it will not give any error. Control Shift F for formatting all the things. So it's ready. Now let's understand what dependencies we are using. So we are using some basic dependencies of a Spring Boot like JDBC, JPA, Starter, and many dependencies are there. Some Tiles dependencies are there. Some Apache dependencies will be there. Mail, Lombok will be there, and some other. So what one of the important dependencies is the Lombok that you need to understand while we are using the getter and setter annotation that will help us to uh, identify those. Okay, after that, the next step we have pom.xml is ready. Now we'll create a simple package. Okay, we have a best package as a com.bug tracking YD. But here in my existing one, you will see we have a configs, controller, DAOs, GTOs, exception, form utilities. So let's quickly create all of them and then we'll move to the next step. So, ooh, okay, I'm going to keep it here. and just keep it a big out and here. So at the very next step, what I'm going to create a config one. So I just go to the new, right click here, go to new, go to package, create a first package and add the config. Always keep in mind the package name should be in a small letter. Okay, so the best package will be there. After the best package, we are adding are just config. And here, what I need another as a controller. So I'm going to add a CTL. Okay, CTL is ready. Now, what we need another one as a DAO that's going to handle our data access object. Okay, after that, we need a DTO. So let's quickly create all of these packages. So I'm going to create DTO, and another one is exceptions to handle the exception into the application. So we have exception now, forms, service, and utility. So we have now form, we have service, and I'm going to create another package as a utility. So this will contain our utility classes. Okay, so we have config here, and we have all the packages are ready now. So we can feed out the data in a while. But before that, what you need to understand, we have two till now we have two classes here. One is a this is a runner class. When you run this application, this class will be run. Another one we have an initializer. Okay, it's initializing our Spring Boot class. Another config, what we are going to do, we are going to configure our tiles file. So let me quickly copy this. First, I'm going to create a configuration class over there that will be implement our web configure. Okay, so what we can do quickly, I'm going to create a configure class. So it should be with this name. So I'm going to just create a class, simple class, and here I need to add a configuration. Yeah, that's it. So I just create this configuration class that will extend the web MVC configure that will be implements web MVC configure. So it will automatically follow this configuration. Apart from that, these are the one-time configuration, so we don't need to do again and again. So once we have done the configuration as Spring Boot, then we can smoothly work to develop the modules and the services and the controllers over there. And some initial things, what we need to do, we need to define this class as a configuration. We have to enable the MVC over there. We have to enable the auto configuration. And in case you are using the scheduler, you have to enable it. But currently, I'm not using it. So just keep it. So what I did, I just copy some annotations that will allow us to do the things in a better way. So I just import all these annotations. So these annotations are coming from this Spring Web Servlet config and other packages that we have already added as a Maven dependency. Now, in this class, what we need to add, we need to add some configuration for the resolvers. So where we have resolvers, so these are the resolver. First thing, I'm going to use it as a view resolver. Uh, I'm going to importing it from the web servlet, the URL, base URL, tiles view. Okay, that's it. Now, just understand, we to handle the view part, I'm going to use the tiles over there. So we are going to, in a while, we are going to create a file tiles.xml in our web folder. So this will, we are just configuring our tiles here and our view resolver here. Now, where exactly we need to add this? So we have a configuration ready. Now just go to the SRC And here we have created one folder under the bare web. We have created under the bare web resource, and that will contain our all the resources. If you see the architecture of new project, you will see nothing is there. We have just resource and bare web, and under the bare web we have nothing. So what I'm going to do, uh, I'm just going to copy this complete resource folder, and I'm going to add it here. So what this resource folder is going to contain right now, we have some CSS, we have some images and JavaScript. So for now, I'm deleting all of them because I'm not going to use it right now. But later we can use, so just keep it. So we have some simple styling on the seats are there, some style sheets over there. Okay, apart from that, we need some important things like a BayYNF folder. So what this BayYNF folder will contain, let me explain you once I will copy it. So let me copy this BayYNF over here under the BayWeb folder. Okay, I think we have BayYNF under the BayWeb, right? So we have one resource and we have one BayYNF. So in this PayYNF, we have two types of folders. The best fragments, it means the common element of the application, like footer and header. And apart from that, we have a home page, login, and registration. And other file as a layout, we have a tiles.xml where we are going to exactly going to define the definition of our page. So, how we are defining our definitions of the pages? Here, let's understand and take example of home page. We have a home page and we are defining it as a name of a home, and we are giving the complete path of this home.jsp. So our home.jsp is available under the web body fragment, and here we have a home.jsp. So we have given the value as a complete path. So this styles.xml is contain all the definition of all our JSP pages. Now, how Spring Boot will know where this configuration is available? So here into the configuration, we are doing the same. We are giving a path of our tiles.xml. That tiles.xml contain all the definitions of the our JSP pages, and we are letting know here to Spring Boot. So this is the tiles configuration, and here you need to check all the files. That's it. And I think the basic application is ready. Now, apart from that, under the resource, we have a file application.property. This is empty file. Okay. What I need to add here? I need to add here a simple configuration of my Spring Boot application. So let me quickly add it. So what the first thing is there is a database URL. So we have bug tracking. Let's say I'm going to add a YT here. So it means we are going to create another database as a bug tracking with the name of bug tracking YT. If we have a question mark query string here as a create database, if is not existing, we are creating as a true. And the second URL, second parameter, we are passing the driver name, username of the database, password of the database, MySQL dialect, and the port number. So we can change the port here as well. And we are giving a context path. So let's say I'm going to give a context path as a YT and just going to update the URL here. So this time this will run on this YT. That's it. It's ready now. Okay, it's ready, but how I will check this project is working? So let's create a simple controller. So here I'm going to create a home controller with the name of home.cdl. Here we have a home page, okay, with the name of home.jsp. Just say Doug bug tracking management, and let's say I'm going to give it a name as a bug tracking management for YouTube. So YouTube YT tutorial, right? And we have this definition. here into our tiles.xml. So, and the name of the tiles.xml is a home. Simple. So here, what we can say, this is our controller. This is our controller. And in this controller, I'm going to create a gate mapping. Okay. And this gate mapping will call as a home, as a simple home URL. And here I'm going to create a method, public string homepage, and it will return to my JSP page. And my JSP page name is home. So don't be confused. This JSP page is the same name that we have defined into the tiles. Let's say I'm going to give it a view. Okay, this will we will call as a API as a parameter, URL parameter, and this will return to the page. It will return on this home page. Okay, this home page definition is already we have given, like we are passing home here, and this is this same name. And when the Spring Boot hit this home value, it will redirect user to this home page. Now I just save it. Okay, now I just save it, and I'm going to run this application. So let's see. There might be any bug, but we are ready to handle. And currently, if you see the database, you will see only database with a name of bug tracking. There is no any database with bug tracking white. So I just going to right click on it, go to run as, and run it as a Java application. When I did this, the controller will like the will start the server. Spring Boot will start the server, and it will give us a method, a running application, which is running on the port number 8080, and the context path is this. Okay, so here I'm going to run this as a local host 8080, and the context path is bug tracking YT. Okay, when I hit enter, it's saying me there's no implicit mapping for this URL, but we have one mapping. If you see into the home page, we have this as a home view. So let me enter it manually. Okay, when I enter this manually, what will we say? It's a bug tracking management for YT tutorial. So we can keep it empty as well. And then if I enter nothing from here, then it will redirect me over the web. But when I click on the sign up, home, login, it's showing white label error because we didn't implemented these pages. So now let's quickly implement these pages. So currently we have a registration page here. So in this registration page, we have simple HTML code that's going to implement some simple values for last name, first name. Like we have fields like first name, last name, date of birth, genders, and other properties are there. Okay, so and apart from that, into the login, we have similarly login email and the password, and we have already defined the definition of these pages also here. And now, if I go here into the DAO section, what I need to create, I need to create a DAO for the user and DTO for the user, exceptions and the forms and the services and the utility. So I'm going to copy some codes from my previous project, and first just understand why we are creating DAOs, DTOs, and DTOs are the entities that we are going to create a beans that will help us to create a getter and setters. Under the DAO section, we are going to perform the database operations, and it will contain the JPA repositories. And under the exception, we will define some classes that's going to handle our exceptions. Under the form, we are going to binding these forms with our HTML pages. And we have services to write the business logic, utilities to perform the utilities. Now, quickly, I just move into my old project and I'm going to copy two classes from here, data utility and data validator, and I'm going to paste it in my new project. Okay, Now, if you see here, okay, I don't need it from the previous project, but from that we will keep it from new project. That will be our variety, right? Or if I remove this, it will not create any problem. And here, if I go and check add package, the blog YT utility, that's it. So now what this data utility is doing here and why I copied it. So it contains many methods that will help us to in during the entire project. The first thing we have some formatting. So let's say we have a standard format for the date in MMDDYY. So we are defining the static variables, dynamic variables over there. It also has some methods like get, date, and time. It will take a string as an input, convert a date in and time in a specific format, and send it to us. Okay. After that, it has the many methods like get integer. So this method will take a string as an input and um, convert that string into an integer and send a return value and get long. So according to the requirement, we can call these methods into our entire project. Similarly, we have one class as a data validator. Again, I'm going to import it from there. So I just save it, go here and add the package. So this validator is going to validate the data. So if you, for example, it has a method as a is name. Okay. So this is name will take a input as a string and check as a particular character name or not. If is there any digit in this mail format, then it will give an error. Okay. Similarly, we have is password, is phone number, is null or not, integer, is long. Many methods are there that's going to help us during the project development. Now, we have ready data utilities. So we will call these methods according to our requirement. Now, next thing, what I need to do, I just need to create a DAO session. Okay, let me create before DAO, we need to create a DTO. So I'm going to create a simple DTO. So DTO is also class that is called data transfer object. So I'm going to create a user and not STO. It should be user DTO. So here I'm going to use some annotation. The first annotation will be this class is an entity. Okay, so I create entity. Apart from this, we have a getter. So this will be a getter class, and also this will be a setter class. We can keep the table name as a table name as a user, right? Now we have some fields in our registration page. Okay, so this will be a class that will contain the fields. So in the same names, we are going to create some DTOs over there. So if you notice here, what are the fields we have on the registration page? We have a first name. So let me copy it on a notepad and then we'll quickly move there. So we have first name, fine. Why I'm copying it from there? Because whatever the name you are using over the front end and the DTO should match with them. So it will be easy to handle. So we have a DOB, means date of birth. We have a gender in a drop down. So we are going to use gender. Okay, after gender definition, we have a email. So this is name as an email. And after that, we have an email on a two condition, and then we have a password. So I'm going to use the password, and after the password, we have a phone number. Anything else? Nothing. After that, we have some. So we have these field on the registration form. I'm going to copy all of them. I'm just move to the DTO, and here I'm going to create a DTO. So I just keep it as a private string first name. Okay, and also this DTO will define our database. Okay, so what I need to do, I'm going to just create a column here, column and the will be we can keep it the same as a first name, and here I'm going to pass a length of it. So length, let's say 75. So we have one field ready as a first name. Now let's quickly create similar kind of second field. So I'm going to just copy it and just copy it 1, 2, 3, vendor, email, password, phone number. Fine. I just going to replace this with first name, last name. That's it. And now we have a DOV. So I'm going to just keep it a DOV. But DOV type will be date. Okay, it will not be string. So let's import it again from Java util. After that, we have a gender. So I'm going to create a gender here. Again, we have an email. So I just keep it a email. Email and gender can be string, and the password can be string. Last one, we have a phone number that can be. We can add another as a user role. Okay, so we can define the user types and user roles over there. So we have user role here. So this user role we will use this user role to define the type of the user. So we have a database table ready as entity ready now. And now with the same parameter, we are going to create a form. So in this form, I'm going to create a class again as a user form. It will be user form. So in this user form, what we have again, this will be a data setter. So again, we have to create a data setter for this class as well. Okay, apart from that, what we need. Okay, I just forgot one thing. Let's create a quickly base GTO, and I'm going to create a base GTO, and this base GTO will be again a data setter. And why I'm using the get base GTO, I will let you know in a while. So let me create it quickly. This will contain the common property of all the beans or attributes. Let me show you where we are using it. So under the DTO, we have a best DTO. I'm going to just copy this all these things. Okay, that's it. So what we are using ID from Java Expressist. Okay, we need this identity as well. We need a column as well. We need to generate value as well. Okay, so we have defined one element here, one parameter here, so there's a ID, and the column name is ID. And what will be the strategy? It will be a unique ID, and it will be generated automatically. While the new record will be comes into the database, it will automatically increase by 1. So here into the user DTO, what we can do for user table also we need a ID that we didn't define yet. So what we can do, we can extend the best DTO here. So this is a simple technique by which we can use the inheritance. Hope if you are aware with inheritance in Java. So that will give us an ID as well. Here also we can extend it into the user form. So extend best DTO type. Now we have again different. So I'm going to just copy the form from here, so it will save our time. So I'm just going to copy it, and I will make some changes definitely. So these are the first name, last name. We have defined the variables, and we have created user DTO, base DTO that will return the return type will be base DTO, and I'm going to create a user DTO. And let me explain you these things again, how we are doing this. So it will be easy doing that. Okay, just remove the override. So just simply, I have defined two methods over there. One is a get DTO, and the second is a populate. So what we are doing here, we are going to set the values of these parameters, and here we are going to populate the values. So how can we set? Already we have DTO. So what we are going to create? We are going to create an object of user DTO here. So this will be user DTO user, and we can say UDTO, simple DTO equals to new user DTO. Now this DTO will set first name to first name, right? DTO will set last name to last name, right? DTO will set DOB to DOB, not DOB. It will give an error. If I'm going to edit here, it will give me an error. Why? Because into the DTO, the data with date DOB is a type of date. So what we can do at this time, we will take help from data utility. So into the data utility, we already have methods that going to convert the data in one form to another form. So I'm going to create an object. I'm going to create a reference of our data utility here. So I just say data utility dot get. What we need here, we need a date. Like this, the DTO will accept only date type. So I'm going to get a date here, and this method get date one will take a string as an input and return a date type. So the same thing I'm doing here. And after that, we have a date dot set gender. So I just set the gender, and after the DTO dot set email. So email is there, DTO dot set password. So password is there, DTO dot set phone number. So one by one, I have all set all the values here, and it will return me a final DTO. And now here, let's create a reference of a user DTO as a argument. Now here we have set, and in the populate we will get the values. So we will assign the value as a first name equals to, this will be the DTO, just keep it as a DTO, and we'll say DTO dot get first name, and the last name equals to DTO dot get last name, and again we have a DOB, so DOB equals to DTO dot get DOB. Okay, but it's showing me error because this DOB is a type of a string, so we have to convert the type conversion. So data utility dot get a string. Okay, what we need here, we need a string from a date, and we just pass this date here. Okay, and after DOB, what we need a gender, email, phone, and phone number. So I'm going to take a gender equals to DTO dot get gender. And after that, we have an email. So email equals to DTO dot get email. And we have password here. So password equals to DTO dot get password. DTO dot get password. And after that, we have a phone number. So this phone number will contain DTO dot get phone number. Right. That's it. So we have populate ready. So it means we have complete form is ready now. And now, what we need to do, we need to create exceptions and DAOs and utilities. For the exception also, we have simple classes, so I'm just going to copy it from there. So I just copy this exception classes and I just put it here. I just paste it here. That's it. Again, it has a package issue, so can we adjust YT here? Might solve. No. Sometimes it takes recompilation, so just remove it while you copying the data from any other project. You can do like this. So it will auto solve the error. It will auto solve the error. Uh, Again here and to this, I'm going to do this. So in case of any error, in case of any exception, we will use this exception classes. That's it. So now we have to implement controller, DAOs, and services. So let's quickly create a user DAO. So what I need to create, I need to create as an interface and as a user DAO. Okay, here I'm going to extend JPA repository. We have already all the dependencies available into my form.xml, and here we are going to use the user DTO type, and what's showing, not showing the option user DTO, right? Okay, it should be have some methods. So this will return me database things, so database classes. So we can create some initial methods like find the user by email. So let's say I'm going to create a public user DTO find by email, and find by email. This will take up the string as an email. Okay, let me copy the user DTO from here. So user DAO from here. So it has some methods. These are the methods we have. I will explain you in a while what this method is doing here. So we have three methods here. We have defined three methods here. First one is find by email and password. So this method will take like this DAO is directly going to communicate with our database. Okay, so it will take it to string like email and the password of the user, and it will return the information of the user if user is available into the database. So here in JPA, we don't need to create a script or SQL queries. It has a predefined methods in a format, so you can read more about the JPAs. It will give you an idea. In case I want to find any user by email, so we have method find by email, and it will take input as an email, and it will return a user information as a user DTO. And again, we have a find by ID that will take ID as the input and return a like object of user DTO. So now we have a DAO ready, and let's quickly create a service and controller as well. So before controller, we need to create a user service. So I'm going to create a service here. So it will be our user service. That's it. And I'm going to give now I'm going to create a service tag here. And here what I'm going to use, I'm going to create a AutoWire object. And what object I need to do here? I need a DAO object because the service is communicate with database. So I want to use the public user DAO, and let's say we can say user DAO. So we have user DAO. Again, let's create a method that will be public add user. Okay, this will register our user. And what this method will return? This method will return. Currently, let's just keep it void, and later we'll see what it can be returned. Okay, so we have a method here, and this method will take a user DTO as an input, user DTO user as an input, and now in this DAO we have save method, and here we are going to import the entity of the user. Okay, so this will save our data into the database. Currently, we are not returning anything from here, but we can return some checks or whatever the return things will be there. Let's say I'm going to return this only and change the type of return method as a user DTO. So it will just return a user DTO. Okay, and that's it. So we have service ready. Next thing, we have to move into the controller, and let's create quickly a user controller. We already have a home controller, but for the user, I'm going to create a separate controller. So here I'm going to use a user CTL, and this will be our controller, right? And this controller, what I need to do, I need to auto-wire some service. So public, public, and what I need a user service here, user service, a user service, and I'm going to create a mapping as a get. No, let's create a method that's going to save our data. So public, public, and this will also return a string because we are going to control this, going to send this response to our which page on our registration page. Okay, nice. So string void, no, sorry, not a string void. We can keep a name as a save. That's it. So this same method. Also, we need to pass some parameters here. I will let you know in a while. So get mapping, and it will come as a name of a registration. Let me check exactly from where what the name will come. So here, if I go to my registration page, you will see during the form submission action, it will send a request to add user URL, and the method will be post definitely. So what I need to do, we need a post mapping because it will come as a post. Okay. Okay, I need to just import it again. Post method and the URL will be this add user. That's it. And where we need to return the response, we need to return the response on this registration page. So I'm going to return it here, right? That's it. Okay, if we here, what we need some responses. Let me show you the format. Okay, what tracking into the controller. We have a user controller, where it is, where it is, where it is. Under the controller, user controller. So we are going to use a model attribute to form the form and the model. So I just use this model attribute and what kind of form is there? It's user form. So it will implement. That's it. So while we add this model attribute form user form, it means we are trying to bind this user form values the data, first name, last name, all the things with this registration form. All the values are available with the same name, first name, last name. So we are exactly going to bind it over there. So let's move to the user controller again. And if you want to return any message, what we need a model. So I'm just going to add a model name as a model. Where it come? This model is okay. Yeah. So let's say what I need to do here, I need to create call a method. So let's say user service dot, we have created a method here, add user, and this will take an input as a user DTO. But where we have a user DTO, we have this user form. We have all the data in this form that is coming into the save form. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a user DTO here, object of user DTO as a user, and we are going to call the form dot populate. Okay, we can populate the data from where. So let me copy it quickly from there. If I have something, we have add user here. We are doing the binding user DTO, we get DTO form dot get DTO. Yeah, we can do this as well. So, okay. So what we are doing here, user DTO, user equals to form dot, we have one form dot get DTO, right? And it will return a best DTO definitely. I'm just going to write it as user user. So what is doing, the complete data, whatever user going to fill in this registration.jsp, it will come to this form, and we are going to populate this form to get DTO. It means that where what our get DTO is doing, our get DTO, where is the DTO? To the user form. To user form, we have a get DTO, which is going to set all the values to this field. Okay, after that it will populate and perform other operations. So here into the user DTO, under the user control, what we are doing, we have all the data now in this user, and we are going to pass this to our user service, and user service will pass this data to other user DTO. Okay, and here after this registration, what we can do, we can send a message to front end. So model dot add attribute, and I'm going to add a name as a user. I'm going to add a name as a success. Currently, I'm not handling error or try catch. I will let you know in a while when we implement this in more detail. So user is registered successfully. I just said a message. Okay. Now I think everything is fine until we'll not check the validation. So we will, this is not enough for a controller. We have to add the proper use to try case, and we have to check in case user is already exist or not. So many implementation are there. But for today class, for today's session, I'm going to just going to finish it now. So just let me quickly run and check the output. Is it working fine or not? So I just refresh this. I just run the project. And here, if you notice into the business messages, what we are doing in case of success message, we are showing success message, and in case of error message, we are showing the error message over there. And so this same message will be implemented here as a business. We have implemented, we have include this file here as a business message. But if you see, I can see there is some error. So no identifier specifier for user DTO. That's good. Okay. Wheel. Entity manager, class identifier, resources. Okay, it doesn't able to find identifier for this user DTO. So let me check the user DTO first. Into the user DTO, we are extending the base DTO, that's it. Okay, let me quickly check the base DTO as well. So we have ID generator, identity, that's it, all the things are there. Okay, we have to define it as an entity. Okay, it should be in it, right? Let's quickly run it again. Save all the files. This time it should be done properly. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, while I'm running it, okay, it's started on termped at 080. Now go to the property, and we have created one URL here. Just copy this URL. I think it's already running. And you can see. Okay, so when I run this, when I refresh this, it's showing me a home page. That's correct. When I click on the sign up, it's again giving this error. When I hit the login, it's giving me error. Okay, no problem. So into the from header, what we are doing from the header, we are passing these parameters, these API parameters to call those pages. So here, what I need to do over the user DTO, Before submitting form, we have to load this form. Okay, so I'm going to create a quick method here to get mapping, and that will take input as this registration. And let's say this method name should be public, and what we can say string, and we can say registration page, and again it will just return to registration. So we are not doing that much here, just keep it as a parameter validation. That's required, that's it. So when user will click on this registration form, when user will click on this registration link, it will redirect to user this registration page that we have defined as JSP. So now if I click on this, okay, now if I click on this, it's redirecting me. Similarly, for the login, we have to do this thing. So currently, I'm not creating a separate controller for the login. So just I'm going to create a controller here for the login. Into the header, I can check the parameters that the API call that I'm passing. So here, by the login, I will call this, and we can name it as a login page. Okay, and after that, where it should be redirect, let me check the definition for it. So it's login only. Din, 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 din. We have to move to the user controller, and I just pass the login. That's it. Now, if I hit the login, it will give me the view of login page. So home is ready, sign up is ready, login is ready. Now, we didn't implement it yet, the code or services and the controller for the login, but we have implemented add user for the registration. So let's quickly register and check, are we able to see this message? Okay, so I just fill up some dummy data, click on the submit button. You can see user is registered successfully. That's great. So if I refresh my database, you will see the new database here. Currently, I just close it. You automatically, one database is created by Spring Boot, the DTO that we created. The name is work tracking YT, and just minimize this. Under the table, we have base DTO as a name. Okay, that's it. And the name is like base GTO D type. Okay, role is coming as a null right now, and other details are there. So we did some mistakes. So let's improve it. So under the base GTO, we have entity. That's okay. The column name is ID. That is also okay. And the user DTO, we have given name as a user table name. That's good. And here, while we entering the user controller values, we have to set, okay, we can set it user dot set user role as a admin or user. Let's say currently I'm reading as a user. This time the value should not be null because we are going to set it on a value. So I just submit this Lona, and I can see the user DTO D type is showing me is like this user. Yes, I did. But if we see, we have creating a weird column as a D type. So why is happening? Because it's created earlier. So while you working with a running server, this problem you will face. So what you need to do, just drop the table, just drop the table. Okay, rerun the application, rerun the server. It will automatically create a fresh and correct uh, data format for you, because I was working on the DTO at the same time my server was ready, so automatically it's created tables in that format. Hopefully it will fix. I'm not sure. So when I run the application, I refresh my database, the base DTO is again created, and we have D type and other things over there. Okay, I have to check why it's coming, but that's not an issue now, because I guess another base GTO we have this. Okay, we can map it as a super class, not a separate entity. That's the thing. Let me quickly check it. So I just mapped it as a super class and not going to create any different entity. I think it will solve. I'm just going to drop it again, drop this table, and now it's already rerun the project. I just stop it, refresh, right click, rerun. Mm. So this is the development from scratch, and I'm trying to make it very faster because I'm using sometime the previous build code. But if you want to learn it from scratch, you have to spend a lot of time over there. And I think the video is also going too long, but it will take time. Like nobody can do anything. Now you can see the table user is created. The table is created with the name of user, and it has a definitely all the parameters that we've defined as a DTO. And now let's quickly fill up the details and submit it. And you will see the message successful and the data over there. Okay, role as a user. Okay, so in upcoming videos, in upcoming sessions, I'm going to cover the login process and we'll keep one some validations over there to pause the duplicate records over there. Like user cannot add the duplicates email ID or username over there. Okay. So meanwhile, if you like this and want more video on a real-time development, just please subscribe to Code One channel, and we will, if you will give us a subscribers, we will keep posting this kind of videos that will help us to improve your real-time development skills. Thank you.